Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for All About Android is provided by CacheFly at CACHEFLY.com.
This episode of All About Android is brought to you by Hulu Plus. Hulu Plus lets you binge on thousands of hit shows anytime, anywhere on your TV, PC, smartphone, or tablet. Visit huluplus.com/allaboutandroid to start your free 2-week trial. That's huluplus.com/allaboutandroid. And by 99 Designs, the world's largest graphic design marketplace. 99 Designs connects businesses seeking quality, affordable designs with a community of more than 225,000 graphic designers. Visit 99designs.com/AAA to receive a free Power Pack upgrade valued at $99. And by Ting.com. Ting is a mobile phone service that makes sense. Save money with Ting. You pay for what you use, doesn't require a contract, and offers unlimited devices on one account. To save $25 on your first Ting device, visit allaboutandroid.ting.com. That's allaboutandroid.ting.com. Hello and welcome to another episode of All About Android, episode 136, recorded on Tuesday, November 19th, 2013. We are your weekly source for the latest news, hardware, and apps for the Android faithful. I'm Jason Howell.
And I'm Gina Trapani.
And this guy right here is not Ron Richards. It's Father Robert Ballecer.
I'm not Ron.
Robert. I almost called you Father Rabbit. Father Rabbit Ballecer.
I'll go with that. Tell me about the rabbits.
Father Rabbit. Welcome the rabbit to the show. It's good to have you back, sir.
Oh, it's great to be back. I miss AAA.
Well, AAA missed you.
Oh,
yeah, we just had to wait for Ron to get on an airplane, apparently.
But, you know, mostly I missed Gina, so don't flatter yourself too much.
Thanks, Father.
So sweet.
It's great to be here with you guys. It's a rainy day. It's so gloomy outside, and I'm cold, but we have a lot of nice Android news to warm us up. That was weird. This week, we're going to be discussing changes to Android cameras, hopefully. The Moto G, Google Glass getting developer-friendly, search gets insanely awesome, and much more. Should we just get right into it?
Let's dump.
All right, let's do it. News. So, remember when Vic Indotra said months back that Google was committed to making Nexus phones insanely great cameras? Some would say that that promise wasn't fulfilled, particularly with the camera on the Nexus 5, although I have to admit I disagree. I actually think that the camera on here is pretty darn good, but a lot of people are having issues with it. Opinions, apparently, are like something that everyone has. You know that saying. It appears that a new API that began in December 2012 was likely meant for 4.4, but was removed from the release last minute, like a month before 4.4 was pushed out. In its place, a comment appeared that says simply, "Do not merge, hide new camera API, not ready yet." In other words, nothing to see here, move along. The new API, it turns out, would bring things like per-frame control of capture and post-processing, high-resolution uncompressed format capability, the RAW format, of course, face detection for adding things like silly hats. That's just one example. It wasn't in there, but face detection, burst shots, and then finally support for removable camera, which, I mean, let's use our imagination. What would that be?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe something that you wear.
Okay, that would work. Sony QX100, that little attachment, maybe that.
Yeah.
Project Ara, the component.
You know what I like about the story is, like you, I've heard all of the speculation of why does the camera suck so bad? I mean, it's using a high-quality sensor. They're using decent optics. Why is it that the Android platform can never quite get up to the iPhone in terms of image quality? If this is real, and if developers actually can start accessing the camera directly and getting the raw data from the camera rather than something that's been filtered through Google's own proprietary API, then you could sort of put all that aside and say, look, sensor's good, optics are good, problem is you're just compressing it wrong. Here's another program that will deal with it better, get you some better image quality. I like this.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy about this. But let me ask you, Jason, about the Nexus 5 camera. You said that you think it's pretty good, right? But here's
Yeah.
the thing. I feel like Google has to be like, this is a great camera, blows away everything, including the iPhone, and everyone has to be in complete agreement. You know, like, and they didn't do that, right?
Yeah.
Like, they definitely didn't hit it out of the park. And I haven't had a chance to play with the Nexus 5 camera, but I mean, I have seen, we have iPhones in the house, even older iPhones, and a few Android phones in our house, and it's amazing what the difference is. And you know, I'm really happy about the API. Of course, I'm really happy that developers have the opportunity to try, you know, take a crack at the software and do a better job. But I don't want silly hats. I just want the shutter
Fair
to
enough.
go when I press it, and I
Yeah.
want pictures in dark light. I don't want my kid's face to be blurry with the background in perfect focus. Like, I want the camera to get it right really fast. I just want it to take a good picture when I press the shutter. And so, you know, the thing I think that really saves Android, but this is available to iOS users. I've been really enjoying the Auto Awesome stuff on Google Plus. Now that's separate from the camera. I mean, that's one of those things where I'm like, I can take 15 bad to mediocre photos and some video and get something really special back from Google Plus, and that's cool. But they got to nail this camera thing, and I feel like Google's got to do it. Google's got to do it. They've got to ship like great hardware and great stock software that works with that hardware, and they've got to blow the iPhone away. I still feel like the camera is a thing.
Yeah, no, and
Android.
I completely agree. I'm not necessarily saying that I disagree entirely that there aren't regular issues with cameras on, with Android devices and the camera capabilities within. I've been pretty pleased with the Nexus 5. It has its issues as far as camera is concerned. I never had a Nexus 4, so I can't compare it to that, but I would say of all the Nexus devices that I've had and used, it's the best camera in any Nexus device that I've seen. But is it perfect? No, it's absolutely not. One thing that Ron Amadio, who wrote the article that we're linking to in the show notes today, mentioned towards the end is, this is Google paying attention to something that has long been a flaw with Android. It's very possible that part of this working, around the API might have something to do with just quality in general. Google recognizing that, why is it that almost all Android devices seem to have, a fatal flaw with the camera as compared to some of the competition out there? The camera just always seems to fail. Maybe it's not the devices, maybe it's also part of the software, and that's why it's a continuous occurrence on Android. Don't know that for sure, but maybe that's a part of this as well. I completely agree. There's plenty of room for working around this.
Well, that has me actually a little bit worried, because if it's not the hardware, if it's the software, then just Google opening up the camera API isn't necessarily going to fix that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
if they're not giving you direct hardware access, and Gina just hit the nail on the head for me. And sometimes my camera takes 2 seconds to start up, and sometimes it takes 30 seconds to start up, and sometimes it will just randomly fail out. And that's within that API, then no open API is going to fix that problem.
That's more a hardware, like how the hardware is talking to
How
the
the hardware
software
is talking to Android, right?
and it's releasing it and
We
everything.
don't have that. We're not going to be able to see that. They won't give us that.
Yeah, sure. Well, I wouldn't mind having a few, funny hats to appear through the camera thing, just because. Actually, to be completely honest, that was something that I actually really enjoyed in the camera on 4.0 on Ice Cream Sandwich, and that you don't have access to anymore. Do you remember the live kind of like it
Oh, no, I don't
enlarged your
remember this.
eyes or enlarged your mouth or whatever? And all
This
that
was
stuff?
an
I never
ICS?
had that.
I don't recall this.
I never.
You
had
don't?
that.
Wow.
No.
Oh, yeah. It was part of Ice Cream Sandwich, and I used to
It
do it
wasn't
all the
like
time
Face
with my
Mask,
kid,
was
and
it?
she thought it was hilarious, and they just
Yeah,
got rid of it.
Wait, what?
What? You,
I have an ice cream sandwich phone right now somewhere. I don't remember ever
I
seeing
mean, maybe
that.
it was only part of the stock camera, and if you didn't have the stock camera, then you wouldn't have access to it. But if you have an Ice Cream Sandwich phone on you right now, we can look at it.
Oh,
and
it's
see.
over there.
Oh, okay.
I have to unplug.
Oh, yeah, Ice Cream
I know
Sandwich.
that Hangouts has those kinds of effects. I didn't realize
Yeah.
that the camera had them built in.
did.
That's interesting.
Talk about the next story, and I'll see if I can find a link, and I'll pop it up so you can see it real quick.
Cool. So Google launches tablets with Google Play for Education. This is a program they promised at Google I/O, and it's just coming out of beta now. Google Play for Education is an extension of Google Play designed for schools, and that means that educators can discover apps approved by teachers for teachers, as well as educational videos and a collection of classic books for the classroom. Teachers can search for approved apps by grade, subject, and standard, including Common Core, pay using a purchase order, and deploy the content to students instantly. Schools can now choose from a Nexus 7, an Asus Transformer Pad 10-inch, or HP Ace, a Slate 8 Pro, and it's $229 per device, and at $30 per tablet for management tools. So it's pretty cool. A teacher gets a tablet and configures it with the student's tablet, and they have a Google Play for Education account, and they can easily pay for apps in bulk for their students. So yeah, if you work in a school, go check this out. This looks really cool. I want to go to a school where I got an Nexus 7 to use educational apps on there. Out of beta now.
You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of, do you remember Apple's strategy of getting Macs into all the schools they possibly could, giving them great prices in order to make sure that these kids grew up with the Macintosh?
Yep.
This is the long game. I mean, this is something that will pay off 10 years down the road. Maybe not right now, but coming from my experience, because I actually live at a school. I live at one of our schools in San Francisco. We've got 1,500 students. We just deployed iPads to every single student, and it's the same across the board, which teachers are saying they're great, I mean, when we use them in the curriculum, but it would be nice if we could actually lock these down so they could only do educational things on these iPads. If Google is going to be able to do that at a price point that is significantly less than an iPad, at a maintenance cost that is significantly less than an iPad, and say, oh, by the way, we're going to be able to let you control what goes onto these tablets, that's huge. I mean, that's something that actually could be a reason why a school would dump iPads in favor of Android tablets.
Yeah, and I mean the price, especially in this regard, is kind of the clincher here. You
want to pay $500? You want to pay $150? What's it going to be?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. But I mean, and it's also just kind of it's the future of education right now is in the technology that's in the classroom, and tablet is just an incredibly kind of portable way of doing that. This makes perfect sense. It's incredibly smart for Google to move into this, and great for schools. It's not a bad cost to get in on this. So they mentioned this at I/O, and it was one of the things that really stood out to me. I was like, okay, super smart. Can't wait for that to happen because schools need this kind of access.
It sounds so boring, right?
Yeah, it does.
It's another Play Store, but it's I mean, strategically, you absolutely have to do something like this.
And I hope
It's similar to the getting the next billion online, like low cost, low end devices, getting those out to folks who aren't online yet. It's similar in that that's not us, and we're not children, and maybe we don't have kids. I mean, I have kids, and Jason has kids, but those two fronts are getting folks online who aren't online now, and getting kids into the Googleverse now. It's a huge long term strategic thing for Android and Google.
Yeah, absolutely. This one's real quick, but it's kind of one of those things like, I never thought I'd see the day. Nintendo software engineer Nando Monterrazzo took to Twitter to say that Nintendo is working on a kid's tablet focused on education. So an educational tablet, kind of like the Nabi, running Android. Nintendo, Android, never thought I'd see the day. There's not a whole lot more to say about this story, but I've just been wondering when we'd ever see Nintendo kind of cross over a little bit, because there have been many reasons why maybe they probably should cross over a little bit.
I will say, I hate this. Seriously, this is one of those things where, okay, we know they're floundering in their primary console business, their primary mobile gaming business, but this oh, Android's hot, and we can make an education tablet, and everyone will buy it because it's Nintendo. Not really. I mean, no matter what they do, this tablet's going to be too expensive. When you compare it to something like a Nexus 7, it's going to be too expensive, and then you're going to have to pay Nintendo whatever it is to make it work as an educational device. Put this next to Google's announcement where you say, okay, Google, the company that actually makes Android, is going to get behind making an educational device for you. Which would you rather go with?
Yeah, no, absolutely. But Nintendo on Android.
I'm gonna disagree. I don't think it's gonna be more expensive, because and the reason I make this argument is the Xbox. The Xbox, when it originally came out, was selling at a loss because they would make money from video game licenses. And so if Nintendo is selling this, they may be able to sell it at a greater loss than Google or Amazon can, because they're going to sell maybe even $20 video games or $30 video games if they stay at a higher priced video game market, which, knowing the video game industry being as greedy as hell, I think that they would make that move to keep games at a higher price.
Interesting stuff. Hey, Chad, check in the chat there. I dropped a little link to a Phone Arena article just before we move on to the voicemail. And it has a Verge interview with Matthias Duarte around the time of Ice Cream Sandwich. I probably could have found a better video to play, but it does show off a little bit of the camera effects that I was talking about. It was kind of one of those things, like along with Face Unlock, that was kind of nifty, interesting stuff. You scan about a third of the way in, you start to kind of get to it. There you go.
How did I miss this?
It was all done in real time. It tracked your face, so it would do. You could set like big eyes, big mouth, big head. If more than one face ended up in the view at one time, it would see it. And obviously, it's not the most bug-free experience in this regard, but I had a lot better experience than Joshua Topolsky's having in this video. But it was a lot of fun. Pop your kid in front of that. You have fun for at least 10 minutes. Taking pictures and
Like
recording
mobile
stupid
photo
videos.
booth.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
That's exactly what it was.
At Google I/O 2 years ago, I was in a workshop that they were showing us how to use some of the Chrome plugins to do exactly that. I'm wondering if maybe that's just the same code.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there we go.
Bam.
Exists. All right. So we have a voicemail here. This would be. Oh, yeah. Go for it, Gina.
Yeah, we've got a voicemail here from Brian. I won't give it away. I just will play it.
Hey, AAA crew, it's Brian from Connecticut. I saw online a startup called Only Coin, and it's basically a credit card-sized credit card that you can load many credit cards into. I saw them using an iPhone, and I wondered if it works for Android and what you guys know about it. Thanks a lot. Love the show. Take care.
Did you guys hear about this?
Yeah, I was playing with this before. So the idea is you preload your credit cards onto this device, and then you can select which credit card you want that particular gadget to be at any given time. So you could say, okay, it's going to be my American Express, and you hand it to someone, say, okay, pay with this. It's a decent idea, and it's probably coming.
No, it's definitely cleared. I know at least in the FAQ it said cleared for iOS and Android.
Right.
And Windows Phone, they're gonna keep an eye on the platform and see what they think eventually.
Right. Now I know this. The big thing here though is this is sort of like that transitional drug, because there's some people who are saying, well, wait a minute, why wouldn't you just use your phone? If you're going to use your phone anyways to select which card it's going to be, why didn't you just use the phone itself? Why do you have to have another gadget that fits in your wallet that could add another point of failure? But the nice thing about this is that it allows you to use old world credit card systems with the new digital system. And then eventually you get rid of the credit card altogether and you're left with the digital. It's the drug. It's the
right. It is sort of the bridge to the future.
Come play with us.
It's interesting to me that former head of Google Wallet, Osama Bedir, probably saying his name wrong, is an investor in Coin. Google Wallet, there was a while there that there was the possibility of there being some sort of like tangible, real world, not with your phone kind of card to tap into Google Wallet. That ended up being kind of in the rumory land, but this is kind of the same thing.
I forgot about that.
In a strange way.
Right. Yeah, I forgot about that. This is you can pre-order it now for $55. It's supposed to ship in the summer. I don't know. Like I watched that video and I was like, I want that. And then I thought, why do I want to carry? It's another card with all my cards on it, which means that if I lose it, I lose all my cards instead of one card. I mean, it alerts your phone. It uses nearby Bluetooth. It will send a notification to your phone if your Coin card, if you walk away from it, which I'm sure it does that if the waiter takes it to, swipe it when you're at the restaurant as well. But yeah, this does, I think you were spot on. This is sort of a transitional thing between now and the future. This idea that like we're going to be swiping cards for a while. So let's just do it.
But what could kill this? What could kill this absolutely is, the magnetic strip is just data, and you can switch this card so that it mimics that magnetic strip. But all it takes is that one time that you go to a store and they don't take it, because the person behind the cash register goes, what is this? This is not a credit card. I've never seen this before. I don't care if it runs. I'm not going to run it. Are you fraud? Are you a thief? Da-da-da-da. And then you go, well, I guess I have to carry this, and my old credit cards just just in case they don't take
Well,
it.
yeah, because there's still a little bit of education that has to happen around this to just the people at the point of sale, right?
Right.
Like you're saying that, yeah, sure, it swipes the way a normal credit card does, but it's obviously not a normal credit card. In fact, it's got a little digital readout on it that anybody who doesn't know what exactly this is could think that it's a hacking tool or some sort of like way of paying with funds that don't actually belong to you.
And I don't know about you, but the moment that they have this thing available for us, I will have the credit cards of everyone at Twit.
Well, you'll have 8 of them. Just 8 of them.
You're just going to go around and swipe all of them.
They're mine.
Hey, what's that over there, huh?
Hey, Jason, look at that. No. I mean, look, if you see the video, it's really that easy.
Because you don't expect that he would do that, but
I know.
he would.
I would totally do that.
Yeah.
I feel like I would walk into a store with coin, I would pay with it, and then the cashier would say, like, "Can I see your card?"
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
What is this, your business card? I don't.
And, and if you carry this is cool, but if you have to carry this and then the original cards, would you still do it?
No, that's the whole point. Is that you don't have to. Yeah.
Same thing with Google Wallet. That's kind of always been my issue with Google Wallet is that Google Wallet only really becomes a replacement for your wallet if it's all you need to take, right?
Yeah.
It takes just as long for me to reach into my wallet and pull out my credit card and swipe it as it would potentially to pull out your phone and get it to work. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it works. Ron would be the better person to speak to that because he's used Google Wallet in a lot more situations than I actually have in the real world. So maybe I'm the wrong person.
I have to say, I went to Old Navy once because I had to find shorts. It was weird. And they had the Google Wallet symbol saying, Google Wallet. Oh my gosh, I was so excited. So I'm turning it on because it's off by default.
Yeah,
turning on NFC. And I start doing this, and the woman behind the cashier is like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, it's Google Wallet. She goes, no, we tried that, but the sticker's stuck on the desk. I'm like, oh, sad. Come on. It's the future.
Right. And
So Ron's a wallet animal. He just walks in his little deli and taps his thing and takes a Snapple. I mean, it's amazing. I witnessed it once. I was like, this is the future. I totally get it. But it's that one store that he does it with. Does it at before AAA.
Ron believes that wallet is our future. That's just teach them well and let them lead the way.
Show them all the cards they can carry inside.
Just like Google TV was.
Yes. Ron's a believer. You got to give him that much. He's definitely a believer.
You saw his face. Okay, no, we better go on. No more songs.
No, please no. Although I'm usually the one singing, so my apology. Let's take a quick break and thank our first sponsor of today's episode. You've probably tried Hulu.com. Hulu Plus is actually so much more than that. With Hulu Plus, you can watch your favorite shows anytime, anywhere. Hulu Plus lets you watch thousands of hit TV shows and movies in the living room or on the go with your smartphone or tablet. In fact, I have the Hulu Plus app loaded up right here so I can kind of show off. They just have a ton of stuff throughout the app. You can scan through Saturday Night Live, obviously. There's, obviously they give you a lot of information about also, what's outside of Hulu Plus, which is why you see the Hunger Games Catching Fire trailer here. But they just have a ton of shows, Colbert Report, Glee, there's Scarface, I love that movie, Breakfast Club, just a ton of stuff through Hulu Plus that you can get right on your mobile device. You can watch every episode of all these shows, Lost, Doctor Who, Community,
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes. You can also check out exclusive content, including Hulu originals like The Wrong Mans and Behind the Mask, Hulu's new docuseries that actually takes you inside the world of sports mascots. That sounds interesting. You'll get access to a collection of ad-free movies and kids content. Love that there's kids content easily accessible in there for only $7.99 a month. You can catch up on current shows, binge on old favorites, or catch a great movie. Stream as many TV shows and movies as you want, wherever you want. So here's what you can do right now. You can try Hulu Plus free for 2 weeks when you go to huluplus.com/allaboutandroid. That's a special offer for our listeners. That's you guys. Make sure to use huluplus.com/allaboutandroid to get the 2-week trial. It's an extended free trial. Normally you get a 1-week trial. If you just load up the app, you're going to get a 1-week trial. huluplus.com/allaboutandroid extends that so you get 2. And that lets them know that we sent you. And that's kind of important because we think Hulu Plus is great. We want them to know that you heard it from us. We thank Hulu Plus for their support of Twit. We hope you enjoy watching instantly with Hulu Plus. Check it out on your Android device. All right, let's get into hardware.
Motorola announces the Moto G. This is the kind of affordable alternative to the Moto X. $179 off contract. Yeah, awesome price.
That's crazy.
And pretty good hardware. The Moto G's got a 4.5-inch 720p LCD TFT display, quad-core Qualcomm Snapdragon 400 processor, 1 GB of RAM, 5 megapixel rear camera, 1.3 megapixel front-facing camera, running Android 4.3, removable color backplates. The differences between the Moto G and the Moto X: no support for the active notifications or hands-free voice control, and no LTE. The 8 GB is $179 unsubsidized off contract. The 16 GB is $199. Incredible prices here. And interesting bit, the Moto G, which is a low end, which is, Motorola's low end device, runs a quad core, when the Moto X, which is their higher end device, runs a dual core. But of course, the Moto X has that contextual brains inside the X8 chip that lets it do the active notifications and the always listening. We will see the Moto G launch here in the U.S. in early January. What do you guys think about this phone? It's interesting.
I mean, it's hard to deny a price like that. You know what I mean? $179 off contract. Motorola and Google, Google-backed Motorola is obviously, they're both kind of on a tear to, I think, kind of change the way, at least here in the U.S., how we feel and how we, think about what it means to buy a phone. Right now, so many people are locked into those subsidies and paying $200 for a device, locking you into a 2-year contract versus paying $179 for a device outright and not having a contract. I can tell you right now, the Nexus 5 is the first device that I've bought off contract outright, and it was incredibly liberating to walk into T-Mobile and spend 5 minutes there and just say, "Hey, I just want to sign up for a monthly contract." And they were like, "Oh, okay." Like no muss, no fuss, didn't have to sign a contract. I'm not locked in anything for 2 years. Next month, I could jump ship and go somewhere else. So it's awesome. I think this is fantastic.
Awesome. And it's awesome to be able to do that without spending $600.
Yeah, completely.
I'm sorry,
that's the alternative.
No, right? I'm down with you. I have been preaching the no contract thing for the last 4 years. I got a Galaxy S2. That was my first off-contract phone. And yeah, I paid $600 for it, but then I could explain to people over the course of a 2-year contract, it's actually half the price, blah, 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 better service, and I don't have to pay a contract, no early termination. But with phones like this, and with phones like the Nexus series, where the outright cost is actually affordable now, where for this one, the outright cost is actually less than a new phone on contract from AT&T. You can finally say, look, why are you paying extra money? Why are you paying the subsidy price? Buy this, get one of these free SIM cards from a carrier like T-Mobile, and just try it. And if you don't like it, it's not a whole lot of money lost.
Yeah.
I'm also excited because I've had family members on Boost Mobile or whatever, and they want to get a free phone. And there's no phone. There's no phone to say go ahead and go get this one.
Oh yeah, I approve of this one.
Right. And if the Moto G shows up on one of those carriers like Boost Mobile or Cricket or whatever, I can definitely say this is the closest thing to vanilla Android. It's not going to have a ton of bloatware. It's going to be a great experience. You should try this phone.
But if that ends up, so are you saying if it ends up there and subsidized, it would be free? In which case,
absolutely, yeah. Yeah.
But that seems like I understand.
I know, but
totally
there's some people that even $200 is too much.
Absolutely,
is too much.
I completely understand. I completely agree with that entirely. At the same time, it's like it feels like
it's good for everyone. Like if you want to cut contracts, or even if you just don't want to.
True. Those are the people you just want to hold and say, no, don't you understand? You're going to break even in 3 months.
Yeah, I know.
3 months.
I know. But they just don't have the means.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it's hard to come up with that. Maybe at the point of contract, it's hard to deny the power of free, or free in air quotes, which is exactly what it is.
Free ain't free.
No. Speaking of Moto, this is very interesting. So today, I never thought that I'd see the day that 2 things would happen. First, the Moto X announced its first device upgrade to 4.4 today, and it's on Verizon. Weird. So all the other Moto X's are not upgraded to 4.4 yet, except the The Verizon one is, this is totally opposite from anything that we've ever seen before, when Verizon is usually dead last in upgrade, especially when compared to a device that's on multiple carriers. Verizon's first this time, before all other Moto X's, as well as before all other non-Nexus devices. So basically, the Moto X is the first non-Nexus device to get 4.4 KitKat. The second strange thing here is that Verizon non-Nexus device would get 4.4 upgrade before another Nexus device that was promised the update. The Nexus 4 has yet to receive the update. What is going on here?
Well, I mean, look, the Moto X, it's a newer device. It's a Motorola device. And you know, for the people who are saying, oh, see, Verizon's not that bad. No, it's just because Verizon finally sold as close to a pure Google experience, pure Android phone as they possibly could with the Moto X. That's why it can get the updates. They didn't slap in a bunch of proprietary software and plugins for their own service. So I think the moral of the story here is, yeah, Verizon's still bad.
Well, I'm not denying that. That's for sure. Scooter X.
Clear about that.
Yeah, exactly. Let's be very clear here. Scooter X in the chat room did post an update that I guess went live not too long ago, saying that Google is readying the 4.4 build, and factory images are available now for the 4, the 7, the 10. But I feel like some of these were already available, but maybe not for the 4. I'm not really quite sure. I know some people have been receiving these updates, but I think the 4 was kind of the last, and apparently now the 4 is clear to go. So all things considered, maybe it was just same day. Maybe they got them the same day. But still, Moto X on Verizon beat the Nexus 4 to 4.4.
And now they will point to this every time someone says, Verizon, why are you always updating my phone 2 years late? No, look, we did it that one time. One time. And no one liked it. Get off my lawn.
We're Verizon.
We don't have to care.
Yeah, it's true. Oh, Verizon.
So Samsung, let's talk about Samsung. Samsung says that the Galaxy Gear smartwatch sales hit 800,000 in 2 months. They are very, very proud of this. Some reporting that it was 800,000 units sold, and others were reporting 800,000 shipped. I think we reported it on the story back at the end of October when the rumors were circulating that the Galaxy Gear had a 30% return rate at Best Buy, according to an internal memo. So, you know, sold is a lot different than shipped. I think that shipped meant, you know, from their factories to the retail stores. So that might not necessarily be, you know, purchased by consumers. But, you know, I mean, who's to say? The Verge pointed out, you know, Samsung has spent a lot of money on advertising. I feel like I constantly see ads for the Gear, and I think that, you know, and a lot of people know about it. They've had a lot of specials. You can get the Gear with the new Samsung phone. Yeah, so that 800,000 2 months number seems a little bit shady.
Yeah, and
a little bit doubtful.
YYZ in the chat room is actually confirming what I thought I had heard, but I still found tons of articles saying sold and tons of articles saying shipped, that Samsung has corrected it to actually be shipped. And that's that, no matter how you slice it, that's an entirely different story.
Right.
Shipped versus sold. You're always going to have a huge
sitting
number
in a warehouse
versus
somewhere, right?
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, these are going to sell for Christmas.
Yeah.
The most shipped smartwatch in the world, guys. Come on.
We shipped it to the factory. We shipped it back. We shipped it over to the store.
It shipped
to the
there.
house.
Shipped back
they sent
to
it back
us.
to us. It shipped.
Wild success.
It's just actually 100,000 that were shipped 8 times. No, but here's the thing about this.
Are we being unfair to Samsung?
Yes,
on
we
this
are.
Galaxy Gear?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. That's what I wanted to bring up. On the way over here, I was listening to KCBS, and they had 3 separate technology experts over the course of 3 hours who talked about how this was an absolute, utter failure. Samsung should write it off. This is billions of R&D down the toilet. And then they all said, oh, and by the way, it was universally panned. Everyone hated the device. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. No. It's not that the device was bad. I mean, yeah, the device, the functionality was a little limited. It was lame that it was locked to the Galaxy, the Note 3. You know, there are a few things that should have been released with the initial kit. But the hardware itself is interesting. It's promising. I think they just got the price point wrong, right? I mean, if this was the Samsung Galaxy Gear for $150, I think we'd see more of them in the wild. But by the way, I have never seen a Galaxy Gear in the wild.
That's probably the telltale,
ever. And I live in San
telltale
Francisco,
sign.
so.
If you're going to see one.
I mean,
it's going to be there.
Yeah.
The price point and the lack of compatibility with
That's a big part of it, I think.
Yeah, you know what? I actually would have paid $300 if it worked with my S4. Just to play with it. It looked, I mean, I'd love to play with it, but it doesn't work with anything I have. So why would I buy one?
Well, don't worry. They're going to come out with another one. They're going to announce it at CES, and it's going to be compatible with Samsung devices still only. And
but see, not
according
to the pundits,
they're
no,
too
it's dead.
Locked in.
Just
get
rid of it. It was they tried.
Because it's easy to talk in absolutes when it comes to this kind of stuff. And hey, I'm guilty of that.
Yeah, I was going to say, we are the pundits.
Yeah, exactly.
That's us.
That's what we discuss on this show. But yeah, absolutely. It is definitely unfair to single Samsung out on this. Having said that, coming out initially and saying 800,000 sold. That's like eye raising. Like, wow, okay, all right, not so bad. Wait a minute. Oh yeah, okay.
Does that
it's the other
include the
thing
100,000 you shipped to like as review units?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, let's see here. So glass, some very good glass news actually today, especially for developers. Big news for developers interested in getting in on the glass fun. So basically, Google had an event, a Google Hackathon event earlier today, and recorded it. You can find it online, unveiling the new Glass Developer Kit, the GDK that they've been teasing and just saying was going to come anytime now. Until now, developers only had access to the Mirror API, which is a much more limited in access and scope API compared to the GDK. So this new GDK actually enables a lot of interesting things. Access to location provider, camera control from your glassware, custom voice commands and triggers for apps, live cards that update in real time, gesture detection on the touchpad. And they showed off a few apps in one of the videos. One of them was Word Lens, which I'm sure we've all heard of the Word Lens, but basically it's you see a sign that's in German and you point your phone and launch Word Lens and it'll literally transform the letters that you see in German into whatever language you're translating them to. So in this case, it was into English, and it did it in real time. And they were screencasting from glass. So you imagine you're a tourist walking in a country that you don't know the language, and you see a sign, and you just kind of look at it and launch Word Lens, and blammo, right in front of you, you're able to decipher what it says.
That is a killer app. I mean, I remember because I used this a lot when I was down in Brazil because I do not speak Portuguese well enough. And so I was always taking pictures of street signs and letting it translate for me so that I could figure out exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, where I'm supposed to be going.
Yeah.
If I had a device that would do that for me automatically as I'm looking around, seriously, that's a buy. Yeah, even at $1,600, that's a buy. With as much travel as I do, I'd love to have something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty cool stuff. They have a bunch of new glassware apps added to the list. So you can just go ahead and go to My Glass and you can turn them on right away. I believe Word Lens is on there. Yeah, it is. So you can activate all of these. And just in the continuing saga of Google Glass becoming more and more capable leading up to a consumer release.
I still want a pair of Google Glasses that could actually fold. Like glasses.
I mean, yeah, right.
Can you write an app for that? Do you have access to the arms to bend them?
Is there an API so I can bend it?
Bend the arms.
Right?
I mean, it's really important. Come on, it's important.
To be able to put away your $1,600 pair of glasses, that's actually important. Seriously, right? I mean, that's not just me.
No, they're incredibly delicate. Like if you're
and you've got like your satchel, like your satchel to carry your glass with.
I will say I wore glass last week. My daughter Lucy had her very first gymnastics recital at preschool, and I got to leave the meeting here at work early to run over there. And yeah, it was the same kind of thing, right? Like I had the satchel with glass attached to the inside of my coat because I didn't want to put it in the pocket because it might twist at the battery and snap that thing out. Like it's too fragile. Like it needs to be able to fold at some point.
Yeah.
Hopefully, maybe the consumer version. No, I don't think that it's going to. But
no, it's not.
That needs to be a priority. All these things are great. Capability is great of glass. It's nothing if it's not fully capable. But
I mean, it really. To people who don't have glass, I know that sounds really ticky-tacky, but it's actually huge. I mean, if you're always in danger of losing or destroying your brand new $1,600 computer,
fair enough.
That's not a good thing because it's bulky. Because once you take it off your head, you have something that's this big with nothing to carry it in except that satchel.
Yeah, I mean, let's put it this way: your laptop likely costs $1,600. Are you going to take it out of the bag if you think it might snap in half because it's the wrong situation? No, you're not going to. Right. Same thing.
Oh, please.
I think the GDK is a really good thing, and I think that this is the opportunity for developers to build things.
Yes.
I think the consumer sell on this on glass has to be like, I think the question is, what does this do that my phone doesn't do? And there aren't a lot of answers for that yet, right? Like the glass makes things that you can do on your phone a little bit more convenient because it's on your face and you have to take it out, right? But there has to be a better answer to that. There has to be a really clear answer. Here's a thing that I can do with glass that you can't do on your phone, like that looking at a sign, like you were saying, and getting it translated in real time. That's really cool. But there have to be more answers to that question. So hopefully the GDK will make glass, and certainly this is why Google is releasing it now, is for the consumer launch, to make glass, to differentiate what glass does versus what your phone does.
Absolutely. It's all about always on, always accessible, immediately through voice commands functionality. So a lot of that functionality is going to be the same as on your phone, just going to be easier to access immediately because you're always wearing it. In a perfect world, that's what glass is all about. One of the things that they showed off from one of the new apps, and I wish I could remember off the top of my head which app it was, but it was a bicycle, it was like a timer for fitness. And you're wearing your glass, you're getting ready for your bike. The last thing you want to do, as the presenter pointed out, is find out which pocket your phone is in, launch the app, hit the timer, that's going to track kind of how fast you're going and all those important details or whatever. And he just kind of launched it with a voice command and boom, it started immediately and he could get to trekking.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
Because when I'm exercising, timers mock me. I look down and go, I've only been doing this for 3 minutes.
Well, the
I'm about to have a heart attack.
Well, then this is perfect actually, because as it's going, it goes away. If you want to wake it up and look at the timer, you look up, then it comes back on.
I prefer to make up my own time. I
see.
I want an app that says, okay, I'm going to lie to you to make you feel better. You've been working out for a half hour. Let's go have an ice cream.
Robert Bigelow in the chat is confirming it was Kanji was the app.
Oh, thank you.
I believe that's how it's pronounced. But yeah, that was it. Absolutely. Thank you, chat room. You are smart.
By the way, have
good memory.
Have you? Thank you, Johnny B. Have you worn your $1,600 pair of Google glasses while exercising and sweating?
Me?
Yeah.
No. No.
People have. I have.
Oh, yeah. People
like
definitely
some basketball
have.
players. I was watching some first-person basketball player and like a gymnast. But yeah.
Would you work out at a gym where someone was wearing his Google Glass?
That's probably why I responded the way I did. I'm not sure if I would. Even walking into the preschool where there were a lot of people, watching their kids, like I was obviously the guy with Google Glass at that thing.
You're that guy.
Having said that, and a couple of people asked me about it, and it's cool, you show it to them as a glass ambassador, you take it off, you show them what it's all about. Having said that, it was awesome having it because I watched for 30 minutes their whole performance, recorded the entire thing, and there were a few times where like my daughter would stop what she's doing entirely and run over and like give me a big hug. So from glass perspective, you get this incredible moment that you don't get with a phone, right? You don't get recording video because then you have to set that down and give her a hug. Like it was literally my experience of her coming over and being like, "Daddy, you're here." That's another big part of what it's all about.
So if I get Google Glass, will I get a hug?
We'll talk.
That's a precious thing, and that's something that will only get better. Yeah, that's going to be up in your Google Plus account, and 10 years from now, 15 years from now, that's just going to be irreplaceable. That's really cool.
Clips like that don't fade away. Like those are always important to you. Mm-hmm.
I would think twice about wearing glass to a daycare or preschool though, because I'd be worried that other parents were thinking that I was taking pictures of their kids. Was there any sort of
none of that?
Privacy? None of that.
No, they all had phones and they were recording in their own way too. You know, I mean, it was kind of like it's a recital where they're all performing, so people are recording. I didn't, and that honestly never crossed my mind. I could have walked out of that preschool with a black eye. I never would have known.
That's one of those events. I mean, you're surrounded by parents, and of course, every parent is filming with every device he has.
Exactly.
Every moment is precious. And you're saying, "Oh, by the way, it's on my head."
Yeah, it's up here, and the battery's getting really warm, by the way. It burns my temple right now, but I will persevere. Let's take another break and thank our another sponsor of today's episode, 99 Designs. Love 99 Designs. They do a great work and connect people just looking for great graphic designers. Is what it's all about. They have a community of more than 225,000 graphic designers from all over the world. And if you're looking for a new logo, you're looking for a mobile app, business card, t-shirt, pretty much any kind of graphic design, what better place to go to kind of farm out that work in a certain sense. You'll find the right designer for your project at 99 Designs. Here's how it works. You tell 99 Designs, what you need. What is your project? What is it all about? The kind of things that are important to you, the kind of feeling that you want to get from this. Pretty much you just give them the details around what your project is. And dozens of designers from their community are going to submit designs created just for you, tailor-made to your project. You give the designers your feedback, help them refine their designs, and then you select and pay for your favorite one. Very empowering to get all of these designs all tailor-made for you, and you get to kind of go through and select the one that you think is the best. Are you developing an Android app? It's a perfect place to go if you need icons, buttons to your entire mobile app. You can get all those things designed at 99 Designs. Just the design of your app in general, it's just amazing apps are being designed at 99 Designs, and it's the perfect utilization for the service. Many people have great ideas for an app, but they don't necessarily have, the design skills to pull it off. I know I fall firmly in that camp. My design skills are not that good. 99 Designs would be perfect for that $1 million app idea that I don't have yet, but I will someday. So here's what you can do if you do have a $1 million app idea. You can start your next graphic design project for as low as $199. Visit 99designs.com/AAA. You're going to get a $99 power pack of services for free. And a power pack, if you don't know, gives you more designer time and attention. 99 Designs will bold, highlight, and feature your design project in the 99 Designs marketplace. And you're going to get nearly twice as many designs as well. Visit 99designs.com/AAA. If you like all of this, check it out. It's a fantastic service, and you can really kind of upgrade the ideas that you have with great graphic design. And we thank 99 Designs for their support, their continued support at this point. Man, you guys have been on board for a while now. We really appreciate it here at All About Android and Twit. We love you guys. All right. Without further ado, it's app time. Sorry.
Whoa.
Sound effects.
Google rolling out a massive Google search update. This is update 3. This is version 3.1.8. I know you're all keeping track.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Of the Google search app. And this is going out to all 4.1 Jelly Bean devices and up. This is the KitKat Google search app, which, as we talked about, also includes the Google Experience Launcher, which is, I guess, as the kids call it, GEL, the Google Experience Launcher. So everyone who gets the new Search APK, which is rolling out all devices 4.1 and above, works really well, fixed some bugs, works great on tablets, and you've got lots of new Google Now cards, website update cards for sites that you might like or sites that you've looked at that don't update that often, news topic card, what to watch card on TV, traffic incidents pulling from Waze, recurring reminders, and you can undo the dismissal of cards. And one of the coolest features is this conversation mode that Google demoed at I.O., where you can say, okay, Google, send a message. And now we'll say, to whom? And you say, Jason Howell, and which one? Mobile, what's the message? And it kind of, you have this back and forth with voice using voice commands. I also tried things like, hey, Google, how far is LA from here? And they'll say, an hour and 41 minutes from your location. It's like, what's the weather like there? That whole being able to refer to nouns and verbs back. So really, really cool to see this kind of KitKat goodness get released, for back devices. Of course, it's 4.1 and above, so it's only Jelly Bean and above, but really nice upgrade.
But still, I mean, it is 4.1 and above, but at least you know, a lot of this cool stuff is coming to earlier devices, and it's not just locked into KitKat, so everybody kind of gets a piece of it. And not to mention the Google Experience Launcher, which, you know, a lot of people have wanted that. There was a while there where it was, you know, being bandied about that only the Nexus 5 gets the Google Experience Launcher, and obviously that was a temporary thing until this update rolled out to kind of fix some bugs and take care of a few things on the back end. Apparently the tablet functionality of the Google Experience Launcher wasn't working so well on the old one, so maybe that was a big part of it too. So now more devices get in on the action, and the conversation mode is awesome.
Conversation mode is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Wade County in the chat room is saying this is just the search app. That's true. This is an update to the search app, but the Google Experience Launcher actually comes bundled in that APK.
Yeah.
And so you do have to, after you get the search update, you have to enable the gel by running a launcher app.
Yeah. So there is a launcher APK that you can get out there. I think ultimately probably my guess of what's going to happen is that launcher is going to launch in the Play Store at some point. And this, you know, the search is already going to be on devices. So when you get the launcher, that's basically going to activate the code that's hiding inside search to do the Google Experience Launcher. It's very confusing, but that's how Google gets the launcher on everybody's device.
It's unlocking the power inside.
Unleash the power of Android. Sorry.
This is a weird episode.
It is. Hey, this is what happens when I poison myself with a quesadilla 3 hours before the show.
Wow.
Yeah, strangeness ensues. Real quick here, not a whole lot to talk about this update, but it's kind of nifty. Google Plus had an update last week as well. Things that have improved. You know, a lot of this was around photos, and like you were saying earlier, Gina, photos is just a really big part of Google Plus right now. What kind of makes it so much fun right now? But they've got Android Beam working with photos, so you can shoot pics to each other using NFC if you do that. Photos now works with Daydream. Daydream is one of those things that is in.
They never talk about Daydream.
Yeah,
It's like we didn't hear about that much anymore.
No, you really don't.
It's a stealth feature.
It really is, and it's turned off by default and all that. But it's interesting. It's there hiding for you to play with on Jelly Bean. So this is a screensaver feature that will work with Google Plus now. So that's neat. Let's see here. Photos now show image details, if that's important to you. One thing I've started to notice in the app is that you start to see the amount of views that a picture that you posted is getting. And I don't know if I ever saw that information before, but it's really impressive to see how many views some of these images get. You might get 20, 30, 40 plus ones, but the images are like in the thousands, like the views and everything. And you're like, wow, I guess a lot more people see these things than actually act on them. I mean, no duh, but still, it's interesting to see a number. And then finally, non-photo wise, the locations section will automatically refresh your friends' locations when you open it. And that's something that I got to say, I was afraid when they got rid of, what was it? Suddenly I'm blanking. Their locations, the thing. Latitude. There we go. Thank you. When they got rid of Latitude, because my wife and I use it to know when she's coming back home from work and for dinner and all that. They've really got it back to a great point. Like it's so much better now. You can drill down to where they are. Oh, they checked in 2 minutes ago. Here's where they were at. So all the improvements that they've done to locations, they've really brought it up.
It's not a live updating thing like Latitude, though, right, Jason? Like you have to check in somewhere.
No, it's live updating.
Oh, it is live updating.
Yeah,
so you can share. So okay, your wife can share her location. You can see her going down the freeway. Basically.
Yeah, exactly. And you have two different ways of sharing. You can share pinpoint information. Where am I at any given point, or at least the last point that my phone pulled me as far as where I'm at. And you can do city level. So you could set city level sharing with people that maybe you don't want them to know exactly where you are, but you want them to know that you're in the area. And then people that you want to know exactly where you are.
So you can set your stalker level.
Yes, exactly.
They can know where I am,
Totally.
what city I'm in, just not what street
That's
I'm
what
on.
they should have named it. Why didn't they name it that?
Stalker level. Stalker level 3. It gives you the
Fuzz
city and like you're in a bar. It just doesn't say which bar it is.
Code Red, Stalker level.
I have been absolutely loving the Auto Awesome movies. They've been completely blowing me away. I never took video, even with the baby. I very rarely took video because I knew that I was never going to edit it myself, and I didn't want to have to worry about getting the sound right or holding the camera, steady. But now with the Auto Awesome videos, like I started just taking, 10, 15-second videos and a few shots of the baby, and then it just, whatever, and then I'm done, right? And then the next day, I get a little notification, new Auto Awesome movie. It's like the most delightful thing that happens on my phone because they turn out so well. And it's just like really nicely edited. They put the music on top so you don't have to worry about, bad, audio or whatever. And it's these great little movies of the baby I would have never had otherwise because, I don't want to bore my family with like 30 minutes, videos where I wouldn't have edited. It does all the editing for me. It's kind of amazing. And it's really good at picking out like the good pictures and the good clips of video. The editing tool is like just easy enough to use. Like it does what it needs to do, but it's total fangirl moment here. But the Auto Awesome stuff is amazing, especially for video. I take way more video now than I ever did. I've
had a couple of really random Auto Awesome videos where it's pulled in like just really super random, like if I can't even remember exactly what it was, but it was like a couple of kids and then a couple of random people from over here. I'm like, where did you sync up the time and like this sign? And it really thought it was pretty creative. But I've had a couple of really great ones as well, and I completely agree. It's not very often that you sit down to edit, down a 30-second chunk of your videos into something that is just kind of a nice little summary, and it does it really well.
I thought it was an interesting feature when I heard about it. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, I'll see. I have not yet seen it do a bad Auto Awesome, and by that I mean every Auto Awesome that I've seen pop up on my account, I look at it, and go, I love how they put those together. Like I like you, I did one of these things through Golden Gate Park, and I was just taking a couple of pictures, a couple of videos, and I got an Auto Awesome at the end of the day. I was like, that's something I would send to my parents and say, this is what I did today. Here's 20 seconds.
Yeah,
definitely.
I took an Auto Awesome from actually the gym performance. It was one of their action ones. So it's a single picture, but it's my daughter in 4 different places, because it detected that over the course of like a minute, I took a picture of her and it superimposed them. So she's in all 4 places. And I posted it on Facebook. And, because most of my family and friends are actually on Facebook. They're not on Google+. And I'm not sure whether I should have done this or not, but, I posted the first part, which was like, isn't this great? It was a lot of fun, blah, blah, blah. And the second part was just basically like, it's really a shame that people don't give Google+ more of a chance, because if you were on there, you'd get so many awesome gifts that and they really do kind of feel like that. You end up with these kind of things that are just, next time you log in, that's waiting for me, and that's really cool.
I didn't have to edit. I didn't have to do any of this,
and it just feels so much more innovative than what you get on Facebook now. And I got some hate back, but that's just because people don't like change. People don't like change.
I haven't logged into Facebook for like 3 months.
I mean, you might not like it as a social network, but the photo stuff, like I resisted instant upload for a long time. So I was like, why do I need to upload all my stuff to Google? This is why, because they, it does all the editing work. It saves me hours of editing work that I would have probably not done.
Yep, absolutely. You likely would not have done that. Completely agree. Speaking of awesome.
Oh my God. AAA, the game, the video game. I love this. Oh my gosh. So if you go to thewanderingwizardgame.wordpress.com, one of our amazing listeners is developing an Android game based on AAA, the show, and he's writing a development diary. He's really, really great about sharing what his changes and what he's doing. It's an endless runner. As you can see, there's some Google Glass power-ups and NFC power-ups. I think, is that Ron? No, is that Jason?
That's Ron, yeah.
That's Ron running through. So the update this week is that there's sound. There's new sounds. So I don't know if you can. I don't know, Chad, if you could turn up the audio. The patent troll. I love the patent troll.
And music.
Take my money. Give me this game now.
I'm so utterly geeked to be a character in this game.
I know.
Absolutely love it.
And
absolutely love it.
What I especially love is that it's. I don't know how to say this other than saying it's actually like really well done. Right. You know what I mean? Like someone's decided to take it upon themselves to make a game about this show And they've got a really good, Matthew is his name. He's got a really good sense of humor, obviously. And he has the skills to kind of back it up. And I love watching this on a weekly basis and seeing where it's going and everything. I love it.
Thank you. Matthew Holtzum, recent graduate from Towson University. I love this. And I love that he is keeping the diary updated and showing the updates as he goes on, and just utterly flattered. So thank you, Matthew. We're watching.
I apologize in advance to listeners of the show or viewers of the show, because we'll probably likely be talking about this for a while until it gets released, because we're just geeking out about it.
One request, Matthew, could you work in a cheat code? Up, down, left, right, A, B, B, A, start. That'd be awesome.
And what would happen?
Did you get all three of you on screen at the same time?
Oh,
come on.
I thought maybe a priest would come out of nowhere. And
I
bless this game.
Maybe Chad's hair turns purple.
Or it goes rainbow color for the Konami code.
Nice.
I mean,
there's has to do the pixel thing.
Exactly. Yes.
Exactly. It does.
Exactly. Oh yeah. Well, I can't wait. I cannot wait for this game to release, just because I want to play as not me. I want to play as Ron or Gina, and then maybe unlock a secret character.
Oh, a secret character.
Yeah. I want to be the tall, skinny host for the day, so I'm totally gonna play as Jason. I want to know what that's like.
We need our own our own specific capabilities. Like,
Jason should have super jump.
Like in Super Mario. Was it Super Mario?
The two? The weird one. The one that had
Luigi?
Onions.
where Luigi's the tall one, so he could jump higher.
Yeah, and Princess Peach could float.
Gina can float.
Gina could float for a while.
Over things.
Yeah.
Oh man, we're giving him way too many ideas. He's like, just let me be done already. Anyways,
this is feature creep.
It's not released. Yes, it totally is. And it's not even released yet. All right, let's thank our last sponsor of today's episode, and that would be Ting. What is Ting? Ting is a no BS mobile phone service. Ting is an MVNO reseller of the nationwide Sprint network, and they're very different from the providers that you're probably using right now. They do not have contracts or early termination fees. They're truly and completely contract free. They actually have a new ETF relief program. So if you're paying an ETF, which is an early termination fee, to come to Ting, they've got your back. They're going to give you a credit for 25% of your fee, up to $75 per device. Simply purchase your device through Ting, port your number, then submit your final bill with your ETF detailed from your previous carrier, and then you go to ting.com/ETF for more information on that. But they're basically going to give you 25% of your ETF, up to $75 per device. They do not have bundling or ride-along services, no overage charges or penalties. The other guys actually charge you if you go over your allocated minutes, data and text. If you are having kind of a heavier usage month with Ting, you just pay for what you used. No add-on charges for things like voicemail, caller ID, tethering, hotspot, three-way calling. All that extra stuff on other carriers is no extra charge, no add-on charge for it. No mysterious line items on your bill. They charge you for what you used, plus whatever taxes they're legally required to. So there's no hidden charges there. You can have unlimited devices on one pooled plan. So have as many devices as you want, sharing one plan of pooled minutes, messages, and megabytes. And each device on a plan costs a flat $6 per month. They have just an incredibly powerful online account control panel that allows you to take control of your account, take a look at all of your usage, your bills, both past and present, in a powerful online control panel. And no-hold customer support. You can call them at any time between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And a real person is going to pick up that phone. No automation there, which is refreshing. As well as online support, of course. If you don't want to call in, you can go to help.ting.com. They have a very active customer forum, simple and powerful help ticketing system, video tutorials, startup guides, and so much more. So here's basically how it works. You first purchase your mobile device from Ting. You're going to receive that in 2 to 5 business days. Then you're going to activate that device with Ting and have the option to select a new phone number, or you could port an existing one over. Ting's going to break your rates out into minutes, text messages, and megabytes, and bill you at the end of the month for what you've used. Simple as that. They have the incredible tools online so you can kind of take a look, the savings calculator, where you can kind of break apart like what you need to use. They also have a way where you can kind of import in what you've been doing on your other carriers, what you've been paying, what your usage has been, and help you decide on what plan is best for you. So here's what you can do. Visit Ting today at allaboutandroid.ting.com. Save money and better manage your mobile phone usage with Ting. As I said, their savings calculator is incredibly helpful to allow you to do that. You can see how much you owe, you or your company can save by using Ting. And All About Android viewers actually can also save $25 on your first Ting device when you sign up. But in order to do that, you got to go to allaboutandroid.ting.com. So that's allaboutandroid.ting.com. Start saving today. Use Ting. They are awesome. Thank you, Ting, for your support of All About Android and Twit. You guys are fantastic. All right, let's get in the old arena.
So many enter, but only one lives. Android Arena.
All right, checking in on last week's arena. Let's see what we have here. So, episode 135 from last week. Results are in, and wow. IP Cam Viewer.
Oh, okay.
Took off with first place at 40%. I will give it that. It's a pretty awesome ability to monitor a lot of different cameras on one device at any given time. It's kind of one of those time-wasting apps where you're like, I'm bored. What do I do? I'm going to check in on some cams and see what's going on at the intersection of Fairview and Cole or whatever.
But you know what? It's on my mobile device, so I'm not a voyeur. I am a tech enthusiast.
Oh, yes. Well, it's like it's like the video version of police scanners, but different. System Panel came in second place at 22%. Flib, third place at 19%. Camera Awesome, fourth place at 18%. Gina, I have to imagine that's only because there was no way to demo it. Because Camera Awesome is awesome, right?
It's pretty awesome, but it was $3. Yeah, and it was hard to demo. Yeah. No.
I think maybe the lack of a demo and yeah.
You're being very generous.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. It just means I get to go first this week.
Yeah, it means you get to blow us out of the water with your awesome app.
Kaboom.
Boom. I'll try and show it off while you talk about it.
This app, this game, I'm not much of a gamer. This game has completely sucked me in. I installed it last week before the show, and I was going to present it on the show last week, but I was like, I want a little time with it, see if it's really good. Hours. All right, so my pick is Star Wars Tiny Death Star. It's free. It's a collaboration between LucasArts and the folks who made Tiny Tower, which I actually never played Tiny Tower, but Tiny Death Star is kind of the same idea. So it's a business simulation game. Jason's got up on his phone right there. And the idea is that it's really expensive to build a Death Star. So what you're going to do is you're essentially going to build a mall in the Death Star. You're gonna add apartments and you're gonna open up retail shops, and you're gonna hire citizens, these little digital characters, to work for you and to sell stuff and to stock the shelves and to sell. And then you earn money, and then you earn enough money, and you add more levels. And it doesn't sound fun at all. It is so fun. It is so fun, and partially because the Star Wars implementation. If you're a fan of the movies like I am, the music is so good. The characters are from the movies. It makes me laugh. The name of stuff, the names of the items for sale in the stores, and it's just got so many features. You can dress up your citizens. Each one of your citizens has like a dream job that they'd like to have, and like skill levels based on categories. Recreation or food, service or service. I mean, it's pretty amazing. So like part of your job as the person building the Death Star is to try to place your citizens in their dream jobs, which is very funny. So you're on the side, of course, of like sort of the Empire, right? So you have times when like Princess Leia or somebody from the Rebel Alliance will show up, and then you have to kind of course, rat them out and get them out of your Death Star. There's a lot of elevator action, as you can see. Jason, citizens just sort of like arrive in the lobby, and then you send them up to the floor they want to go to. You get assigned, Lord Vader assigns you missions, and of course, and as you achieve the missions, achievement unlocked. This is actually my first time that I'm using Google Play Games, because there's Google Play Games integration. So awesome. My achievements and my gameplay are all getting recorded in Google Play Games, which I hadn't done before. Really love this game. Music's great. Characters are great. just a really nice sort of like Star Wars branded version of Tiny Tower. My favorite part of this game is that inside the game there's a Facebook clone. I think it's called HoloNet, where you can see your Bittisons like posting status updates about what kind of day they had or what they had for breakfast. It's hilarious. It's really, really funny. Really, really fun stuff. It's free. Tiny Death Star, Star Wars Tiny Death Star, and I think it's fairly new too. I think it got released like last week or the week before last.
Yeah, it hasn't been out for very long. It was on my list. You beat me to it, but that's okay. It's obviously a game where you have to take a little bit of time to really kind of get in there. And
I really wish you hadn't shown this to me. Yeah. This is the kind of game I get addicted to.
You're gonna have to play.
All week I've been trying to understand what it is about it that I like, because it's kind of work. I mean, you're building businesses and you're trying to make money. I mean, this is something I could be doing,
Yeah, I know.
But there's just something about it, and I think a lot of it for me is just is the music and the characters. I've been singing the Star Wars songs or humming them to myself all week long, and it's just something addictive. And when you stop playing the game, like your shops keep making money, so when you go back, you see how many credits you earned in the meantime, and you have to restock your shelves. And it's kind of exciting to play Sabitison and in their dream job. That made me really happy. There's a tiny Vader.
It's just really well done.
Yeah, it is really well done.
It's really well done.
That is Star Wars Tiny Death Star. I think it's hilarious that we flock to games where we are actually working, but they're in games.
Don't do it, people. It's a trap.
Like there was
It's a trap.
Okay, obviously this is an old game, but there was a game that was serving tables at a restaurant. What was it called? It was called Diner Dash.
Oh yeah,
really old game, right? Yeah. And I mean, I worked in a restaurant for years, and I was a food server. And by the end, I mean, I was done. Like I hated it. But for some reason, I liked the game, even though the game stressed me out just as much as like working in a restaurant. I was like, why do I do this to myself? Why do I work at a restaurant when I'm not working at a restaurant?
I'm gonna build a simulator where you go through a root canal. Yeah.
So I got 14 levels in my Tiny Death Star with 4 underground levels, Imperial levels, and my elevator was kind of slow. I can't tell you how hard I worked for like 2 or 3 days to save up enough Imperial bucks to upgrade my simulated elevator. Okay, in the game, I don't get it. I came really close to actually buying credits, which you can do, and I haven't actually spent real money on Tiny Death Star credits yet. But
whoa.
Very,
this might be the news that you don't want people to know, Gina. Burke in the chat room is saying that Jar Jar is in the game. Is this true? Is this true?
No. No.
Is there a Jar Jar in this game? I have to know.
There is. I saw it in the trailer.
Do you get to kill Jar Jar? Do you get to throw him down the elevator shaft? Because that would actually be worth it.
You should play and find out.
Yeah.
You should vote and then play and find out.
Turned it around.
I see what you did there. Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, fantastic game there. Star Wars Tiny Death Star. You can't deny the power of the Force. Or the dark side.
Or the dark side.
Speaking of the dark side.
Yeah, so, well, Jason, I have to admit, I got a call from one of our bishops, and he wanted to know why I'm not promoting the Catholic Church in a more positive light.
This review scares me, by the way.
So I decided, this time it's a decidedly Catholic app. I'm sorry if Chad will show my screen here. I went with this. It's none attack, run and gun. So I was raised in Catholic
nothing less from
exactly, exactly. And when I was a kid, I used to think that these nuns, after hours, they would fight evil, and so that's what you see here. Now it's a fairly typical side-scrolling runner. And with a couple of options. I mean, you get to choose which nun you're going to be. You can equip them with the weapons you want. You have everyone from, Olga with a shotgun to someone with an AR, 2 handguns, dual wielding. I kind of like being the big nun with the huge gun. And then it's if you've ever played one of these running games, this is basically the same thing. You run around, you kill bad guys, and you try to get as far as you possibly can. And you get progressive difficulty. So right now I've got one of these power-ups that lets me just sort of bypass the level, and it's a good thing. Now, what I really liked about this is I have spent so much time just messing around, and I guess you're not getting my audio, which is not a good thing. Oh, there we go. Yeah, the audio is actually pretty good, and I love the music. It brings me back to the 70s. Yeah, it's got the whole... You know, there's nothing like a nun with a missile launcher, really.
Oh yeah. How many times have we seen a nun with a missile launcher? You know?
You know, I thought I don't really like these kind of running games because they tend to get a little redundant after a while. But I have been playing this thing for a solid month, and this is sort of my good night game. I get a couple of rounds of run and gun. Now, the cool thing about this is actually a continuation of a series that this company is doing. They have a real-time strategy game that is sort of like a World of Warcraft with these exact same characters. And people had difficulty getting into that game, so they made one that was a bit easier to pick up from the get-go. Now, you will get addicted to this thing. It entices you to slowly get better, to slowly better equip your nun with more armor, with more life, with better weapons. With more guns. And like Gina, my thing is I don't buy. I haven't bought anything for this game, but I have been so tempted sometimes to just shell out a little bit for, you know, a bigger weapon because the enemies start, you know, not dying when I shoot them.
You're good at talking and playing at the same time.
This is pretty much all I do when I'm giving homilies. I'm actually doing this.
Oh my god.
Yeah. This is my thing.
So.
Oh, and there. That's the end of my nun.
Yeah.
But that is nun attack.
Your nun is done.
Run and gun. Yeah. Now, one of the cool things about this is they actually they're very smart about this. There are contests that you can play against your friends, and you get awarded, you know, in-game currency. So the more people you play with, the better it is, and you can send reports of how far your nun has gotten, how many werewolves you've killed, blah 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 blah. So it really entices you to play this with other people.
Is it bad that I imagine this being all about Android, the game? Like, all about Android, run and gun is going to be the next...
And I would be Simone. I would be the fat nun.
Yeah.
And I guess, wait, I think we've got, oh yeah, that's
me.
Mm-hmm, that's you.
Okay.
Gina, I kind of have you as Eva, the dual-wielding short nun.
Yeah, sure. I'll take that.
Yes, it's cool. Yeah, this is my pick. This is what I've been spending my time on. This is my addiction for now.
So what drove you to download this initially? Was it the name or?
Well, I needed something to demo on some phones that I was showing off. I was reviewing for Before You Buy, and I'm scrolling through the free screen, and I'm wait, did that say nun? And I'm like, oh, nun and gun, run and gun. Now let's do this. Nun attack. Woo-hoo.
Fantastic.
That's nun
Good
attack,
pick.
and it's free.
Your
Great
bishop
pick.
is proud.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been looking forward to this review all day ever since I saw that in the rundown. And it looks like a fantastic game. There you go. So that is Nun Attack, Run and Gun.
Run and gun. Free
Now,
download.
mine is just an incredibly fun picture frame app. It's not a game, which I realize.
It can be a game.
Sure.
Treat it like a game.
Sure. It's actually really well done. App for turning your phone or an old tablet into a photo frame. As I'm talking about it, I'm like, man, I really should have came armed with a game instead. It's going to be a rough one, but I think it's still kind of neat. So come with me and take a look. The chat room's already saying crickets. Whatever.
Especially both of the other games had music.
I know,
I think you need music too.
This photo frame app is like more exciting than any other photo frame app because it works with like all of your services. So if you are with Google Plus, you're with Tumblr or Facebook or whatever, man, you can just import it in and bring up all the feeds. Thank you for.
But it's so
music.
sad.
It's okay. I agree. It's a little sad in comparison, but I will trudge through.
This is a good app. This is a good app. I installed this app.
It really is.
Yeah.
So, okay. I almost have to take the music out of my ear. I'm going to start crying. So PhotoStream, basically what it allows you to do is add all of the different services that you want to import. They also allow you to add in any services that they have. So, for example, they have a Dayframe Tumblr service, and this is just a bunch of different images, you know, that come in from this particular Tumblr blog. And if you hit play here, you'll notice it goes into photo frame mode, and it's basically streaming to your device. And mind you, this probably is better shown off on a tablet, and I'll show it off on a tablet here in a second. But it basically puts your phone into kind of, I guess it could be a screensaver mode-ish thing, but essentially it's a frame for whatever photos you've dialed in for it to come. And as you can see, it's pretty nicely designed, right? You've got the time at the top, has a nice kind of Ken Burns move effect on it. If you want, you can skip through on any of these pics to get to the next one. It also has any information that might be embedded with it, so you could go right through. If you tap that, it'll take you right through to the Tumblr blog that it came from in this case anyways. So let's see here. So let's go back here. So you have all the different photo sources. Essentially, these are all the accounts that you want to set up with it. Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, Flickr, Dropbox, 500px, or pixels, whatever you want to say, Google+, Twitter. You can also bring in your gallery or a particular folder that you have set on your device. And let's see here. What can I show off here? Here, you know what? I'm going to switch over to the tablet.
Yeah.
Because it's bigger.
Let's go full frame.
Let's go. Let's go for it, huh? Okay, so this is a zoom. Many people call it the zombie zoom because it doesn't really, it's not really meant to do a whole lot anymore. It's been left in the dust. But I brought it back to life by importing in the Extra Life Tumblr blog. And so I can turn it into
that's cool.
a demonstration of Scott Johnson's awesome art imported from his Tumblr blog. I didn't have to do anything. I just had to search for Extra Life as a Tumblr blog within the app. I add it, I hit play, and automatically, bam, it becomes, my Zoom becomes a pretty cool kind of, on my desk demonstration of, thank you, Chad, of Scott Johnson's art with a clock. And, this is just one example of what you can do with it. Obviously, you can bring in your own albums if that's more important than Zambi, the zombie-looking Bambi, which I think is pretty cool. You can have it be a mixture of all of your different sources if you like. And it's just kind of a neat way to kind of give new life to old devices that you might have. And that's really about it. You can turn it on.
I love
and
it.
Mix it all together.
You're letting us reuse our old gear.
Let's go. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I like it.
Let's go ahead and discover. And there's all these different things that you can discover. Anyways, see graphic design. Oh, Dwell Studio. Sure. Let's go to
So
Dwell
pretty much
Studio.
any feed from any major social media service, they'll be able to pull it in.
Pretty much. And then I'll go back to photo streams and I'll see here. Let's see here. There we go. There's Dwell Studio. So I go to it. It refreshes all the images, and blammo! I can throw it into kind of photo screen mode.
Nice.
Thank you, Chad. You're putting me in the mood for Dayframe. That, my friends, is Dayframe. So there you go. It's free, and it's pretty darn good. It's not a game, but it's cool, and it has.
It is cool. Never buy one of those cheap photo frame digital photo frame
Right,
things
exactly,
again.
right?
That's kind of what I thought. And this gives you kind of unlimited kind of capability in the sense that you can really import just all the services that you want and the particular sources. You're not just bringing in a flat folder of pictures into a photo frame, which, you could do that too if you wanted. So there you go. All right. Enough about Dayframe. It's time to vote. This week's poll can be found at AAApoll.com/136. AAApoll.com/136. And let us know which is your favorite. Is it Dayframe, None Attack Gun, Run and Gun? Sorry. Oh, I almost.
None and gun works too.
Yeah.
That's fine.
And Star Wars Tiny Death Star. Early reports are in. Star Wars Tiny Death Star.
Dayframe's holding.
This is a close race right off the top.
It's right there.
It is close.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough race. I knew the apps this week were going to be good. Let's see where this ends up.
Although I got to say, I'm going to be downloaded Tiny Death Star tonight, and you won't see me for a week.
Well,
I'll be doing that.
I've added 2 levels since we started the show.
That's all I've been doing here.
That's another big benefit of this game is that you can play it while you're doing an Android show.
Absolutely.
In the background.
While you work.
Awesome. Great stuff, you guys. What an awesome show. I had a lot of fun.
I did too, yeah.
Usually
me
do.
too.
But, you guys are great.
Considering the fact that you're dying from a poisoned quesadilla.
I feel better now.
Well, see,
all I needed were the 2 of you and the chat room and everybody
Dayframe.
listening and watching in
Dayframe.
Dayframe and Star Wars and None
Some
Attack.
chill music,
Attack,
courtesy Chad.
Yeah, exactly. And Chad. But only for like a couple more weeks because Chad, you're leaving us.
I'm sorry.
Sad.
I'm sorry.
Matthew's going to have to change his game. 'Cause
Matthew?
You're in it. Matthew Holtzen.
Oh, yeah. Huh? Maybe I'll. Yeah. I mean, I should be a secondary.
Chad
character.
will just be the character that leaves after the first level.
Yeah.
People don't even know. At the start of the new year, I'm starting a show Gizwiz, and so I won't have as much time anymore. I have to leave.
It's going to be a rough transition. Actually, Chad, you are not on the show as of what day? When is your last episode? I know it's the last one in November, right? So it could be next. Is that next week?
Perhaps. Tony was. I think they want to train the next person. So
okay.
I mean,
so maybe a couple of weeks.
Maybe earlier. I'm actually not sure.
If it's November, then next week's your last episode. But I'm sure we'll find out next week.
Oh my gosh! I didn't even realize it was that quick. What?
Yeah. See, that's what happens. You step into the time machine that is all about Android.
I know.
And then you'll be dead to us.
Yep.
And then whatever.
Brian will be the new hotness. Brian's gonna dye his hair blue.
And Brian's going to get a new phone. We'll talk all about that when we have Brian on for the first time. We're going to save that. Father Robert Ballester, thank you once again for joining us.
Oh, it's always a pleasure. Thanks for having me back.
Absolutely. This is your chance to talk about, well, whatever you want to talk about. What you got going on?
Well, I do This Week in Enterprise Tech on Mondays. It's kind of a geeky look, and you may have heard about it. I have this TD.
I think I push buttons during that show.
Well, you push a lot of buttons. That show's not easy to do. I throw a lot of curveballs at you. But we talk all about enterprise tech, which is basically if you ever wanted to know how the internet works, how the world's connected, how servers work, that's the show to watch. On Thursdays, I do Know How with IAS, where we do a bunch of interesting DIY projects. I believe this week we're looking at IAS is doing something with Media Center, and I'm going to be showing people how to turn fire into electricity.
Ooh,
which is kind of cool. I like
fire into electricity. That sounds dangerous.
Yeah, we're getting all free energy and stuff. It's not free. It actually obeys the laws of physics. And then in January, I'm starting a couple of new shows. I've got a programming show that will be on Thursdays called Coding 101. I'll be with Snubs, and we're going to be going through projects. We'll be doing little 6-week modules, taking you through different languages.
Wow.
For everyone from the person who has never touched a compiler to the expert programmer, we're going to make it a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
And I will be taking over as host of Before You Buy, the review show, since that's where I started. That was my lineage.
Reviews are kind of your thing.
That's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm a geek like that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see all the new Father Robert goodness in the new year.
It's gonna be weird. I already can't stand watching myself once a week.
So. Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean,
that's cool, though. I'm excited about that.
Wait, hold on. Wait a minute. What just happened here?
Hey, Gina, how's it going? Do you have anything to plug, Gina?
Move on. Gina, good news about ThinkUp, right? It all wrapped up.
We wrapped up our crowdfunding campaign. Yeah, we blew away our goal. We signed up like over 1,200 members, which I'm really, really excited about. So now we're just kind of heads down working toward our January 15th launch. Very excited about that. But you can see everything that I'm up to at ginatrapani.org. I make an Android app. Besides ThinkUp, I make an Android app called To Do Text. You can go to todotxt.com to check that out. And I also co-host This Week in Google here on the Twit Network, and that's on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Pacific. So you should come watch me and Jeff and Leo live tomorrow afternoon to do Twig. And that's about it.
Fantastic. I know I will be. Cool. Thank you, Gina, and congrats on ThinkUp.
Thank you.
That's awesome. I can't wait to see the service fire up in January.
Me too.
And Chad, what about you, sir?
Other than leaving the show, if you're wondering who I am, I video switch this show, so that's why sometimes I jump in and sometimes I'm actually doing work. But what I would say to you is check out my Minecraft show, OMG Craft, or my YouTube show, This Week in YouTube, for YouTube creators, or check out what I do on my own personal YouTube channel. Over there we get to have a little bit more fun, and it's kind of more loose. We do vlogs. I do vlogs and Let's Plays and all sorts of craziness. So head on over to youtube.com/OMGChad if you want to see the real me.
The real Chad.
Right. Jason, what have you been up to?
The real Chad can be found on YouTube.
Right.
You can find me at about.me/Jason Howell. I announced earlier today at yellowgoldmusic.com that if you want to pre-order the album, you can. The official release of Everyone is December 2nd. And so I'm really excited about that, because then once that happens, then I can like forget about it for a while and just be like, okay, I'm not going to think about this album anymore.
Good for you.
This is going to move a lot.
That's huge news. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm
Everybody
really
should go pre-order
excited
right now.
to get that out. And a lot of the people that were doing the Kickstarter, I'm hearing from all sorts of people now that are receiving the CDs and the posters and everything. So it's been great hearing from everybody. I've had a lot of really positive feedback. Of course, people are going to tell you good job, but anyways. Look for that. yogomusic.com is where you can find more information about the music. And that's it for this week. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to the chat room. You guys are awesome, as always. Leave us a voicemail at 347-SHOW-AAA. You can send us an email or a video mail at aaa@twit.tv. You can find us on Twitter. We are at Android Show. We're on Google+. There's a community there as well for All About Android that's always hopping. We're on Reddit, twitaa.reddit.com. Help vote stories up and down. We take that into consideration when putting the show together. Show notes and past episodes at twit.tv/AAA, as well as YouTube, iTunes. You can find all of our episodes there. Finally, you can catch us live every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific, live.twit.tv. That's it for this week. We'll see you next week on yet another episode of All About Android.
Dayframe.
Dayframe.